I, 36 female, have tween boy-girl twins with my ex, 40 male. We were together for 3 years, and when he got me pregnant, he left me to go back to his ex-wife, 39 female, who it turns out was still legally his wife. For context, when we met, he told me he was divorced and he had friends who backed him up. He never gave any vibes that would make me think otherwise, and he seemed like a devoted partner. We talked about marriage and kids. He told me he wasn't close to his family, but his friends were like his family, and I bought that too. They were around us enough. The truth came out when I was 5 months pregnant. He told me it wasn't working and wanted us to co-parent instead. I found out within weeks that he was back together with his ex-wife and they supposedly remarried, but they were never divorced. I don't know if they'd broken up and separated over her not having kids, or whether there was a plan to get kids some other way. But she couldn't have kids and they acted like the twins would be theirs. They tried to force me to let her be present at the birth. I discovered he was close with his family and they had no idea he'd been with me. There was a mess with them that I only know a fraction of because I met these people twice. My ex said they'd happily raise the babies together and I could call once a year. And I said no. I didn't invite him to the hospital to see them being born, but I did notify him via text that the twins were born. I had a lawyer by the time I delivered the twins, so I was working with her to get the best outcome because I knew they'd fight me for custody. I communicated with him only through text and email at first, and for the first year the twins remained with me despite CPS being called, and I know it was them and them trying to get full custody in court, which the judge rejected. 50-50 custody was established once the twins were one, but it was a nightmare. There were a lot of attempts to make decisions they legally could not make without me, and I had to document that. They called her mommy around the twins, encouraged her to have this special bond with them, and even sent videos of her being with them and claiming them as hers. They constantly tried to push for more time, a few minutes or hours. I had to be firm, set clear boundaries, and point out the custody order. When the twins were kindergartners, after a lot of parental alienation and attempts to take over as the parents, my ex lost custody for a while and was only allowed supervised visits. There was some back and forth regarding that, because every time he'd progress to every other weekend, they would be back to their old ways, trying to influence the kids to call her mommy and attempting to steal them from me. By the time the kids were pre-tween, he was back to 50% custody, but the twins' relationship with them was not good. This has been a problem for 2 years now, and he's told me about it via email a few times, but has asked me for help lately. My ex complains that the kids are rejecting them, and especially rejecting his wife. He mentioned how they want to sit in on a therapy session with the kids, since I have them in therapy, but the kids said no to his wife being there, and how they act like they don't know her and don't listen to her. I've refused to help him and work with him on this. He sent some strongly worded emails about us needing to work together for the kids' sake. I admit a part of me is so happy about it after all they put me through, and how they tried to take my kids after using me the way I was. I wish my kids didn't have to see them at all. I know all of this might make me the idiot though, because it's about the kids. Am I the idiot? Sounds to me like your ex and his wife intentionally found someone to carry his kids. They planned this for you without having to pay you for the privilege. They were hoping you would just hand over those babies upon their birth. Question: do you resemble his wife? Yes. They were hoping they could pass those kids off as theirs and no one would be the wiser. Honey, not the idiot, and do not let them steal those kids. It's all very underhanded and backfired on them. Underhanded is a very mild way of putting it. Deceiving some random woman into bearing their children is diabolical. To be blunt, he used you to get children. I'm so sorry. Your ex and his wife decided that they are such masterminds. He messed up and has been messing up since the beginning. Let them have all the consequences and live in a broken, delusional world. You owe your ex nothing but cordial co-parenting. I, 26 female, have been having difficulty deciding if I'm overreacting, so I wanted some outside perspective. I'm autistic and sometimes don't always catch when people are being sarcastic or saying things that mean something other than what they sound like. So my sister, 30, is getting married in 2 months. She's very excited and I was excited for her too, until recently. I've been with my girlfriend Layla, 33, for almost 2 years now. She's amazing. She's a contracts attorney, super smart and really kind. She's also butch and very masculine presenting. She's third-generation Iranian-American, and she has the most beautiful custom tailor suit ready for the wedding that matches the dress code perfectly. It's navy blue, and she looks so nice in it. Here's where the issue starts. My sister has told me Layla can't wear her suit to the wedding. She said that the dress code requires women to wear dresses. I asked why, because it feels weird and arbitrary, and she says it's her wedding, her rules. I tried to explain that Layla isn't comfortable in dresses and hasn't worn one since she was a kid, asking if she could make an exception so Layla would feel comfortable. Still, my sister just kept repeating that it's her day and we should respect her wishes. I told her it felt unfair and like she was trying to single Layla out, but she said it's not just about Layla, it's about the vibe she wants for her wedding. When I asked what she meant by that, she said something about wanting everyone to look cohesive for photos and not wanting to confuse people. I don't really get how Layla wearing a suit would confuse anyone. She always wears suits and pants. My sister has always been a little weird about Layla. When I first introduced Layla to my family, my sister said, "Oh, I wasn't expecting her to look this mature." Layla does look older than me, but I didn't think it was a big deal. She also made a weird comment about how Layla must be doing very well for herself because of how nice her car is. When I mentioned Layla's family is from Iran, my sister said, "Oh, that's interesting," but it made Layla look upset. At first, I thought I was reading too much into things, but then my sister started referring to Layla as my friend when talking to other people about the wedding. I corrected her every time, but she laughed and said, "Oh, you know what I mean, and now with this dress code thing, it feels like there's a pattern." I talked to Layla about it and she said she'd be fine skipping the wedding if it's going to be like this. She doesn't want to cause drama, and honestly I don't want to go if it means fighting my sister on this the whole time. I told my sister I wasn't coming if Layla wasn't welcome as herself, and now she's saying I'm being dramatic and ruining her big day over something silly. My parents are saying I should just go and keep the peace because it's my sister's wedding and she's only going to get married once, hopefully. But I feel like I'd betray Layla and myself if I followed these rules. It feels like she's trying to exclude the woman I love. I'm struggling so hard and don't understand why she wants to exclude Layla. I feel like I'll let my family down if I don't go, but my sister is excluding the person I love most, and I want Layla to know I don't support my sister being mean. Am I the idiot for saying I won't go? Not the idiot. Your sister is deliberately singling Layla out. You can decide which reason, but it is blatantly obvious she doesn't want any butch-appearing females near her wedding. She's uncomfortable referring to her as your girlfriend, and she's uncomfortable with the fact Layla is Iranian. There is a lot wrong here. Don't attend the wedding. It will be a great way to show your girlfriend you support her. That suit sounds gorgeous, so feel free to spend that evening getting dressed up in whatever you want and have a nice dinner together. Forget that wedding, and anyone who says anything like, keep the peace, go somewhere fun. Build a family who loves you. Sister is angry your girlfriend's loaded because she looks down on her, so it annoys her that Layla is more successful than her, making it harder to look down on her. The dress thing is a way to knock her down a peg where your sister thinks she belongs. She probably won't be inclusive with Layla until she needs a contracts attorney. Go no contact with the sister as well as anyone else who thinks that behaviour is okay. I'm a 60-year-old divorced mum of 3 adult sons. For the past 2 years, one of my sons and his girlfriend, they've been together for 4 years, have lived with me and my new husband while they save money and work on their new home. I enjoy having them here. It's nice to have another woman to talk to. Recently, I became a grandmother for the first time. My oldest son and his wife had a baby a few months ago. They visit most weekends, staying Friday to Sunday. My middle son and his girlfriend visit once a month, so our house can get crowded, especially when my husband's daughters visit too. Our 5-bedroom house can have 8 to 10 people on most weekends. My son's girlfriend works from home in a senior role and has always lived alone. I like her a lot. We have a good relationship, but recently she mentioned to my son that she's overwhelmed by the constant flow of family visiting my home and would prefer to move into their new house ASAP. She's been withdrawing from family activities too. She doesn't seem to have a close bond with my other daughters-in-law, though she's polite. She's not social though. I know my husband and his daughters can be challenging to live with, sometimes moody and loud, and one of them is autistic. I've confided in my son's girlfriend about my unhappy marriage, and she's told me that my sons don't like my husband, and she's also uncomfortable around him. She feels the need to stay in their bedroom all day to avoid him, as he works in the kitchen 2 days a week. She didn't seem excited when discussing a family holiday for all of us. She told me that she feels like she's lost herself in our busy, close-knit family and needs more alone time with my son and herself. She also finds the big family dinners exhausting and doesn't always want to join in on board games. I don't know how to feel about this because they'll be moving out in 2 months. Yesterday she became flustered and annoyed when both bathrooms were in use and mentioned that there are too many people in the house and the hot water often runs out. She also reminded me that she pays rent to live here since my husband is very controlling with money. While we were getting our hair done, she shared that if they get married, it would be a small wedding, and she's struggling with the idea of my husband and his daughters being there. She only wants positive energy and people she loves at her wedding, but knows she'll have to accept that won't be possible since they're family. She seemed a bit sad. My son is 30 and she's 32. They seem very happy together, but I'm concerned she might be pulling him away from his family, especially since her own family isn't as close-knit as ours. I like seeing my sons regularly and want them to stay close even as they get married and start their own families. I asked her how she was feeling, so it's not like she just randomly shared all this. I spoke to my son and he was defensive about the entire thing. Am I the idiot for talking to my son about my concerns? Good God, what are you running? A 5-bedroom commune? A flop house? You are the idiot. And family holiday? You must understand that a family holiday is probably the very last thing this poor girl wants in the world. She's being forced to be around a house full of people that she's not close to 24/7. No doubt she finds the whole thing claustrophobic and exhausting, and I'm sure she finds the fact that your adult son and his wife and newborn visit and crash for 3 days every single week just beyond bizarre. I know I do. Reading through this, I kept thinking, who the heck would find any of this normal? Parents of a 7-month-old are usually establishing routines at home, not packing up their kid and crashing at mom's house every weekend, and the constant overnight visitors, all of whom have partners, sounds just weird. Most young coupled-up folks live their own lives and visit on occasion, which is normal. Your daughter-in-law was being honest and polite with you. This is all too much for her. Realistically, it would be all too much for about 95% of the people on the planet. On top of that, she pays rent for things she can't use. If I paid rent, I'd be angry that I couldn't use hot water either. She's marrying your son, not your husband. She doesn't have to put up with him just because you do. In all honesty, I think you're lucky she's been so polite and understanding about it all, and that the only thing she's really done wrong here is to distance herself when the household becomes too chaotic and overwhelming for her. It was my 30th birthday in November. Before this, my girlfriend and I talked about what I'd like for it. She asked what I wanted, and I told her I'd like a get-together with some close friends and family, mine and my girlfriend's, as I hadn't had it before and it was a milestone birthday. There are some small bars near us that we like that let you book them for free if you have a minimum number of people coming. We've gone on 2 holidays abroad for most years, so we decided to go away at the beginning of November as it's close to my birthday. We split the costs of this 50-50, so it wasn't a birthday present. My birthday came and I got nothing like what I asked for. I got a card and a couple of little gifts, a gift card and a book from my girlfriend, but no gathering or celebration. I was upset at this, and my girlfriend asked me why I was upset, and I explained it to her. She said it would have been a hassle trying to get everyone together and would have taken a lot of work to organise. I told her she knew how much it would have meant to me, and it hurts hearing her say I'm basically not worth the effort. She said I should have done it myself then, but I pointed out she'd asked her what I wanted and I told her. She said I was trying to guilt trip her, but I told her I was just expressing how I felt about it. She said I was being too unfair and I should be happy with what I got. I told her she doesn't get to tell me when I can and can't be upset. It obviously hurts knowing your partner doesn't care enough to even try to organise what I wanted for my birthday. She again said I was guilt-tripping her and deliberately trying to make her feel bad. Am I the idiot for expecting the get-together and being upset that my girlfriend didn't even try to organise it? Not the idiot. You weren't asking for a luxury yacht party. You just wanted a simple gathering with close friends and family for a milestone birthday, and you even pointed out easy options to make it happen. It's not about the effort, but the thought and care behind it. Your girlfriend asked what you wanted, you told her, and she dismissed it. Birthdays are about making someone feel loved and appreciated, and it sounds like she missed the mark. You can feel hurt, which doesn't make you the bad guy. And find a new girlfriend. I was with someone for over 8 years who never once did anything nice for my birthday, including my 30th. I tried to get people together for my birthday that year, but no one showed up. Boyfriend did nothing to make the night any better. Got away from that toxic, selfish crap, and have never been happier. You are the idiot. When someone asks you what you want for your birthday, ask for a book, game, or something tangible that's easy to get, for heck's sake. At the most, ask for help organising a party. You're allowed to ask for certain gifts, while others are equally allowed to not want to give them to you. I'm not into parties being thrown for me, but I always organise parties for my loved ones because I know they like it. I do this without being asked, as long as I'm sure this is what they want. I keep them involved at all points and ask them for a little assistance if I need it. But if someone explicitly asked me to throw them a party, I'd get the ick. Ask for something I can get in a box or ask for help with a party. Don't demand I throw you a party. You're not a child. I, 29 male, have 3 kids. My oldest daughter will be a kindergartner in April, my son is a toddler, and I have a newborn daughter. My oldest, let's call her Alice, has always preferred me, a daddy's girl, since the very beginning. She was a bit jealous when her brother was born, but ultimately was too little to understand and it just blew over. This time, not so much. Since the baby came home, Alice has been attached to my side, literally and figuratively. Monsters always appear in her closet whenever I'm taking care of the baby. Monsters that only I can get rid of. Apparently I'm magic that way. Alice wants to be carried everywhere and won't sleep unless I rock her in the rocking chair. When she woke up one morning and saw me giving the baby a bottle, she got upset and tried to shove away onto my lap. I asked my wife for help with the situation. I explained that I don't want to be a bad cop every time Alice is clinging to me or demanding something, like the carry me tantrums, so I'd really appreciate it if she'd back me up, a verbal warning or helping me remove Alice from my leg. She got mad at me for this. She said that she's got a lot on her plate already and doesn't think she needs to get involved in this, and we don't need to make a fuss over a phase that's going to go away eventually. Apparently she thinks I should just handle this myself for now. Am I the idiot for asking my wife to back up my parenting? You are the idiot. Your wife has a newborn. This isn't the same as you having a newborn. Newborns are hyper-dependent on their mothers. Your wife is carrying 90% of the weight with the newborn. I agree with her. She has way too much on her plate. Handle this yourself. Agreed, and I find his language really weird. I have 3 kids, my daughter, etc. He's not even acknowledging her giving birth to all 3 kids. He's just claiming they're his while casually dropping his wife gave birth. To what? Their kid? Is she actually his wife, or is she just a baby-making machine? OP thinks a kindergartner needs to be disciplined for wanting to be loved. She's crying out for affection and you want to punish her for it? Honestly, that's crazy to me. I get that sometimes you need her to just relax, but you're going to cause lasting harm to the relationship between siblings if you insist on punishing her for being jealous of the baby.